Yo, 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 what up with everybody, man? As y'all can see, pulled up, man. Y'all can see there's a high school football game, one of the local games here, man. Before we kick it off, we get all up into it, man. We got Colorado on the slate, Colorado BYU. Got a lot of going on, man. Before we get up into it, man, take time out real quick, y'all. Hit the like button. It's absolutely free to hit the like button, y'all. You know what I mean? For every view it get, hit the like button, hit the dislike button if you don't like the video. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know what's going on out there, people. I appreciate y'all, but most definitely hit the like button. Hit it right now. Um, Share the content. Appreciate that. Subscribe here if you're new to the channel, man. I appreciate all your new subscribers, man. On my way to get to 6,000, man. It's been a long road. So if you're new here, most definitely show some love and hit that subscribe button, man. Um, Growing, man. We growing out here. Look, um, this is the high school football game. It's a local game in the area. This is Mercyhurst Prep High School and Corey, PA, out here. And this was a very controversial call in the area. As you can see, this game. I'll play it. And yeah, so it's 34-37 in the game. I believe this is overtime. And this is it. This is it for the game. Let's go ahead and play it.
Trips topside. Big carry looking. He's under pressure. He gets out of it. He throws it. It's caught! It's caught! Touchdown! Beavers win! Beavers win on homecoming.
I don't know if that's a touchdown, y'all. I don't know if that's a touchdown. I mean, I played the play for y'all. All right, so he's going through his progress. You know what I'm saying? He should have been sacked right there. Really should have been sacked. No bend, and he got away. Didn't get sacked. He didn't. He got out of it. Got out of that pressure. Got away from it. Fourth down. This is it. This is it for the game. Way to clutch. Now, I don't know why in the world this here. The ball, okay. The ball is here at this point. It's up here. He jumps for the ball, right? His feet is off the ground, as you can see here. His feet is off the ground, as you see. The ball, however, is crossed the plane at this point. He's not getting pushed. He's actually running from this way. I played it in fast motion, and he catch the ball. And now, if you slow it down, his feet is still in the air. It's not on the ground. His feet is still in the air. I don't know if y'all could tell. It's a little bit grainy. Excuse me for that. Yeah, his feet hasn't hit the ground yet. Still, momentum is carrying him forward. He was not pushed. I'm not even sure if he was carried and pushed out of the end zone at that point. I don't know if he's pushed, I guess, by somebody being in the end zone. If they're carrying him out the end zone, I don't know how that works, because you can carry him out of bounds. So what they should have did is held him in the air, throw him out of bounds out the back of the end zone. Is that what I'm guessing? But anyhow, he catches the ball and he lands about right. Let me go back right there. I ain't got the best instant replay, but his foot hit the ground. I'll try to play it from here, and I'll try to pause it as best as I can, right? His foot just about to hit the ground. It's just about to hit the ground, y'all. Like, it's just about to hit, and it hits about right here. Right here. And he falls, and he touches. His foot already hit the ground at that point. He already landed, as you can see. Boom, 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 boom. Land. He's falling, and he falls there. That's where he's at after he catches it. They're throwing their hands up already. I don't know if it was one of them games where the referees was just ready to go home or what. But great high school football game to go to overtime against Mercyhurst and Corey. A 2A school versus a 4A school. Mercyhurst Prep is a 2A. Corey's a 4A, I think. In Pennsylvania. I don't know if that was a touchdown, though. I just don't know. To be honest with y'all, I don't know if that's a touchdown. I think momentum carrying him forward. Had he been stretching back, had he been falling backwards and the ball broke the plane at the time of him being in the air, leaving the air, whether the ball he caught in the air or not, he got 1 foot down outside of the end zone. It was relatively close to the goal line when the ball probably was when his foot finally did hit. I wish I could really catch it, but I think he's out, man. Yeah, you see that? Even in fast motion, I mean, you can tell the kid, like, I mean, I hate to say it sucks, man, but momentum, no push, no nothing. Foot hits. He's nowhere near. He's nowhere near. Had you played that play in slow motion, man, you did whatever you had to do, man. That kid just didn't. I'm sorry, man. He didn't. It wasn't in the end zone. I'm sorry. It's too close. I mean, I guess it's too close to call at that point. I guess it's just one of them, like I said, it's just one of them games where you like, as a referee, like, man, I'm ready to go home. I've been out here all night. It's an overtime game. His foot hits the balls and there's a right hand, not in the left hand. The right hand clearly shows short of the goal line. Yeah, but they called it a touchdown for those guys, man. Tough game by Mercyhurst, man. Very tough game by Mercyhurst to lose that game. And shout out to Corey, though, man. Corey walked away with the victory. Game over. All she wrote. That's it, man, for that. Moving on to the next vid, man. Got another one, man. We're going to get up into this BYU and Colorado situation, man, this game. But shout out to those two high schools. This is shout out to RJ, football guy, college football guy. Let's see what he got to say, man. I mean, I only clipped the beginning of it because it's an 8-minute show. Y'all can go check it out on his YouTube channel, man. RJ talks about all sports or the college football, whatever. I don't know, but let's go ahead and let's rock out. See what he had to say opening up because I had to record it.
That Colorado had a chance to win this game late. Caden Salter threw it away. What did we do?
I don't like that. I don't like that he said Caden Salter threw it away. And that's how he opened it up. That's why I recorded it, because that's how he opened up with the show. I mean, you got to open up a show with something provocative to get clicks and to draw people in. I to be honest with you, I didn't even finish watching the whole thing. I was like, yo, that's crazy to even hear him lead with Caden Salter. Like, nobody wants to hold our fellow man of God. Now, and I really mean this because I am, and I'm sure a lot of us are, Coach Prime, accountable for the lack of his team's performance. Nobody wants to do it. And I think it's very, very, I think it's sad. I really do. I seen the nightcap with Shannon and Ocho. They're talking about he needs to get out of Colorado. I hate to say it, but the first mainstream media guy that I heard say it was Stephen A. Now, man, regardless if people want to say, is he right, is he wrong, or whatever y'all got to say about Stephen A., he was the first guy to say it. He just was. It's just a fact. I mean, I'm not up here just lying and spreading rumors. But he played. He got up. I played like 50% of his interview, 50 seconds of this interview, and I'll just get the rest of the take on that. Like I said, I just don't like the fact that nobody wants to hold him accountable. Everybody's pointing at. Now we're pointing at players and their lack of the things that they're doing. I'm noticing that a lot of people want to use Shedeur tactics, like, and if I could call Shedeur out for backing up out in the pocket, how the other teams are doing that. A lot of guys, NFL wise, college wise, are doing that same thing, and I don't know if it's something that they're learning. But step up in the pocket, I don't know. But anyway, That's another conversation another day. Let me stick the topic, and then this is Colorado. So let's go in and let's listen to this minute of Prime in his interview.
Coach Liam Howard, ScoBuff Sports. Caden early on in the game did a solid job of throwing the ball away when pass plays started to break down, but we saw him try to create a little bit more in the second half and take some sacks. Did you have a message to him after those plays?
Yeah, definitely. You got to do a better job of getting rid of the ball. Just get rid of the ball. Let us get back to the line of scrimmage. I think one time we were in field goal range, and that kind of put us out of field goal range, because then the last time it was a area there that I thought about going for it. I really thought about it. I really, really thought about it. And I talked to my guys upstairs to see how they felt about it, and we didn't come to the conclusion that it was a good idea at that time. We burned the time out thinking about it, but it was worth it because we came to a collective conclusion, because I was ready to do it, but you give them the ball right.
Trips topside.
Yo. Now, what I will say is that you look at this situation, right? Regardless of what however we want to put this on wax or whatever, however, whatever. This is a crying shame, man. It really honestly is. It's a crying shame that we have adults in the room that are blame. It ain't even a shame that they're able to point out the players, because look, if you messing up as a player, you make it NIL money, and you enter in the grown man world. I have no problem with the coaches doing that, none whatsoever. I have absolutely no problem with doing that. But my thing is it wasn't done last year. These same things are happening now. Like this has been an ongoing thing. This ain't something that's new. This ain't something that just been done this year. You did what I'm saying? Like, this ain't something that just been done this year. Like, when have this been like this? This is something that's always been going on. Am I right or am I wrong? You know what I mean? Like this has always been something that has been going on in Colorado for forever. I mean, we seen Shedeur, get up there and not be held accountable in the public. And I get it. That's his son. And you're not going to do that. But look, he's still the quarterback of the team. And he wasn't held accountable for the times that he took 20-yard sacks at all. Not even like that in the media, not even when people ask questions. And when you're doing it to somebody else and somebody else's child, it makes it look bad. And I don't know if it's I don't know what it is, right? But I'm just saying the optics of it just don't look right. As being a parent, it does not look right, because you didn't hold your child accountable in the same manner to what you're holding my child accountable now. Like, I have no problem with you holding my child accountable if you're his football coach. And developing him and molding him and being a male figure in his life, why he's learning how to become a man off in college. I taught him everything he up until this point that I can, and I will continue to be there for my child. But now he's in your hands, and you didn't hold your son accountable for these things, to the point where he has gone through his whole career making his own decisions, calling his own plays, and still having some of the bad habits now. And I mean, it shows. And this isn't me just talking and just, saying things. This is what's out there. It's out there. These are and he has held them accountable sometimes, but not every time. And every time this season, we have seen Kaidon Salter make a mistake, and he's been asked about it, and there's no problem with that. But once again, you were not doing that when it was your child. And as a parent, I have no problem with that, but there clearly is a bias, and there should be. That's your child. But you have to be able to turn off that coach in that aspect when you're asked about your child as a player, but you're his coach and he's been asked about a player, the quarterback of the team. Now you have to answer that and take the son equation out of it as if that's the quarterback of your team. And you have to refer to, you can say that's my son if that's what you choose to do. And you can say, well, my son, he can't put us in those situations, but we didn't hear that. And I wonder, and it's all speculation. It really is. It's all speculation on how the locker room is taking things. And when Colorado loses, everybody kind of it seems like everybody just dives deep downhill and say, well, the Buffaloes ain't going to bounce back. But they'll get an unexpected win some point this season. They'll beat one of these teams that people think that they're going to lose to. They'll rally up and they'll get a good win there. But do they got a tough schedule? Absolutely, they got it tough. Every team that they're playing is I think here on out is much more physically talented than what BYU is. And BYU is talented and they're very well coached. But I think you got some really good coach teams. And I must say that the lightest game they got left on this schedule is Arizona to me. To be honest, I mean, and that's Arizona, not even Arizona State. Kelly Denningham, they will bring it. But Utah, they still got to see Utah, West Virginia. We don't know what you're going to get with West Virginia because, I mean, they just got blown out by Utah, but then they just beat a Pat Narduzzi Pitt team, and they scored points on them. So West Virginia seems to be a little bit of showing some inconsistencies under Rich Rodriguez right now. So that's really concerning. But, I mean, just looking at the way that this Colorado's Buffalo team is right now and the way that they let BYU come back after they were up 14-0, and they continue to get gashed in the run game the way that they have and the way that they are, I think it's concerning. I do, y'all. I honestly think it's a little concerning to see this team go through the struggles like this. I really do. And then continue to see them struggle with the run game, because you're going to see that in college football a lot now. And with the remaining games on the schedule, they really got to play some teams that's bringing it. That's going to bring it, and that's going to be well rounded and some pretty tough defenses, man. So I mean, two of the teams that they play coming up, and I'll talk about them recently, but this game, I thought early on, Colorado came out on fire, hit on fire. They really did. I mean, it really was. They both had 10 total drives. The teams did. They both started from about their 31 or 32 yard line. Havoc plays created defensively. Colorado had 5 of them. They had 5 tackles for a loss. BYU's had 5 tackles for a loss. Sacks generated. I mean, BYU got to the quarterback a little bit more. They got turnover battle. You could say that. But when you letting up it's a consistent thing of how much yardage they're giving up a game, and they're giving up about 400 yards a game. Period. That defense is Swiss cheese. Look, I see. I think that's where the hating comes in when you come in with those little slick comments, and I think that's when things turn to hate, and it's not a proper analyst of a football game, right? Because when you throw those little comments in there, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not fixed. I was very upset when they got Livingston. And the only reason why I was is because he was from Cincinnati, the Bengals, and I was expecting somebody of a little bit more. He got the experience, the professional experience, but I was expecting somebody different to kind of run the defense. To be honest, with a little bit of name. I didn't know exactly who that would be, but I thought I didn't know if it would be Robert Livingston from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, because he had probably took another job in NFL, who knows? Maybe, but the Colorado defense looks like the Cincinnati's Bengal defense did in the NFL in the AFC North. It just does. Running all over them. Really couldn't get too many stops. Kind of built the same way. Get some decent, good DB play out of them. And really, trying to make plays through the DBs and really not focusing on that on those big guys. And you can't build a team from the outside in. We know that, but he known that. Ocho and Shannon Sharp, Coach Prime knew that the first year that he needed big guys. He knew that the second year, everybody just overlooked it because winning makes everything all right. But when you got a unguardable wide receiver like Travis Hunter that just ad-lib plays, and then you got a quarterback as accurate as Shedeur is in college and very well a great college quarterback that he is, and was. And then Travis Hunter, that makes up for a lot on the offense to where it was just unguardable. And I mean, you got guys who literally got drafted. I mean, I don't care if it was the 5th and 6th round or the 6th and 7th round in the draft, whatever these LeJounte and Jimmy Horn Jr. got drafted. But you got guys who are NFL receivers, regardless of what round they got drafted in. Antonio Brown got drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 6th round, and will probably be amongst the greats wide receivers in Pittsburgh. That's not so. Where you get drafted, just being drafted is an honor. So that's where I'm speaking on, and it makes up for a lot of that. And I still think that some of that is around. Now, could he have made some of them plays? Absolutely, he probably could have. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? But it don't help when that defense is playing the way they're playing. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to stop opponents too. You got to be able to stop opponents, man. It just can't just depend on that. I mean, they running the ball pretty good. I mean, it seems to be you know what I mean? Like, before you take all the deduction out of the sacks, they had like 207 yards before you take the sack yardage out of the equation. They ran for like 207 yards. Kaidon Salter had 84. Before you take all his sack yardage out, he had 14 carries for 84 yards. Draylon Miller had 52 yards. Michael Welch had 67 yards. You know what I'm saying? So when you take the sack yardage out of that, it goes down, of course. But before you take everything out, 207 yards that they rushed for. So offensively, to be honest, you got to say, okay, well, could they have more targets? Maybe the ball was low to Amarion Miller, but every pass ain't gonna be perfect. If you like that, you like that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing I don't really get about when you try to give an honest opinion on athletes that play a gladiator sport like football, any athletes for that matter. Like, they're becoming men. They have to get used to people not agreeing with everything they do. And I think that's what's wrong with this generation now, is that they want everything and they're not used to people just being honest and giving them an honest opinion about themselves. And they want everything right now, quick microwave, and they throw pouts and they throw fits when things don't go their way and when things aren't happening the way they want it to. And you got a lot of adults that do not that it's no longer a village. It's the village against the village. You know what I mean? When the village is trying to, give a fair critique on a player, you got other parents that's, oh, you too hard on this young man. He's a baby, or they're young men at certain times. And then, you know what I mean? Then they're grown men when they're doing good, and you can't have it both ways. And we have a lot to do with that in society. And I just think it goes a little bit more outside of football. And I think that's a conversation for another day. But I don't like when adults are blaming the kids. Like, you know what I mean? RJ coming out, leading out with Kaidon Salter, blaming the game on Kaidon Salter, really not wanting to hold the coaching accountable at all for the game, saying that he threw it away. They probably should have used some of them timeouts. I think it was a little bit of bad clock management late in the game. Even still being down by 3. They had a long way to go. I think you got 80 yards to go in the game. You still don't want to call a timeout, regroup, come up with some kind of game plan, because at that point in the fourth quarter, you gotta go. You gotta go. So where was the game plan at? You know what I mean? Where was the timeout to kind of settle the guys in and say, you know what I mean, take this. They could have hit the middle of the field once or twice, and it just wasn't enough. And then get to the ball and then immediately run this play or immediately spike the ball. You know what I mean? There was no plan. And that's coaching. So you can't blame that on Kaidon Salter. Like, can we blame can you say he threw an interception? Absolutely, he threw an interception. A lot of quarterbacks do interceptions. Yes, he's going to do that. You know what I mean? But they had the game handily. They had the game. So who do you blame that on? Who do you blame them having the game on? Like, there's problems there, and it all starts with that defense. That defense has been giving up on a consistent basis every single game. 400 yards, whether it's 250 yards rushing or giving up over 200 yards, they're getting gashed by the run. The run is Colorado cannot defend the run. They can't. They cannot defend the run. That left side of offensive line with Jordan Seaton on there, it looks pretty good. And I don't know if Colorado continues to lose, but I will say that if Colorado continues to go down this hole and they don't win games, I think it would be best for a guy like, to be honest, I mean, because it got to be talked about at some point. I think it would be best for a guy like Jordan Seaton to say, you know what, with all due respect, he has to go somewhere where he'll be appreciated, and maybe he still will be. Maybe NFL scouts will still be looking at Jordan Seaton, whether he stays put at Colorado or not. I think that would mean more to some NFL teams than him bouncing around trying to go to a team where he'll get the spotlight. I think him staying put where he's at, developing where he's at, continue to work on his craft, I think it'll say a lot more about the person he is than going somewhere else. And, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure a lot of Colorado fans would appreciate that more too, and appreciate him being there. But there's a lot of there's some guys away from that defensive line and being where it's at. And rather, you can have a gold jacket coach all you want to. I mean, Warren Sapp was one of the greatest defensive linemen. Kenny showed them a lot of ways and how to prepare for the game and the way he needs to do things. Yeah, but what was Warren Sapp doing when he was in college? You know what I'm saying? Was he really out there lifting? I don't know. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Or was Warren just Warren? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He had a talent, big guy, you know what I'm saying, unguardable really, and he was really good. And I think that's where recruiting comes in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest, recruiting comes in at a point where you could develop those guys. You especially when you knew now, instead of only having 1 year with Sapp and everybody in the defensive line room, Sapp can mold a high school student, high school defensive line. You get all. I don't care if don't matter if they're 4 stars or not. They just gotta have the size and the speed. You don't want to be looking for the 4 and 5 star to splash recruits. Do they got the size and the speed that I can teach? That's what Sapp need to look for. Get them there. Get the guys in there. Get them on a regimen. Eating, weightlifting. If they got the speed and the size that you could teach it, continue to develop them, because that's where it's at. It's development. It's the development. And I do think, and regardless, at some point as a player, you got to take that accountability of missing some things that the coach is not showing you. But in the same sense, it works both ways. In the best programs around the country in college football, the players hold themselves accountable for developing in their craft, and the coaches also hold the players accountable, and they may let them get away with some things, but they still make sure that they're hitting a certain benchmark with developmental, in their developmental process through a college football, right? You got to be hitting those developmental projections in order to stay, or in order to know that you're progressing. Or if you're not, then that freshman that I just picked up, that's a 4 or 5 star, will probably be starting over you because he's hitting that developmental mark, right? But yeah, it's tough sledding, and it's only gonna get tougher for Colorado here on out. I thought, look, I watched the BYU game. I thought that they played BYU pretty tough. I thought they was gonna beat BYU. BYU is just sound, man. They're a sound good football team. They really are. They're a really good sound football team, man. And shout out to them. That's all I really gotta say. I just don't agree with how people opened up on that about those young men, man. I really don't. Spent a lot of time talking about Colorado. I knew I was. But that's okay, though. That's okay, because that's why I had put them first on there, because I knew I had a lot to say about what went on, including the videos, man. I just didn't agree with that, man. But, let's keep it moving. Next, yeah, man, look, Arizona State and TCU. These is two teams that they both got to play, and I hope they paid attention to this game, because I think it's going to be real important for Colorado moving forward, to really pay attention to these guys, because these guys balled out. Really, really good game in the Big 12. The Big 12 is actually a lot better than what a lot of people thought, and what a lot of people thought that was going to go around. But before I get into this, I ain't going to do that. Yeah, TCU and Arizona State, they, Arizona State was able to pull the game off 27. TCU had 24. I thought that the game was a really good, well-played game, honestly. You know what I mean? TCU was on 1 in the Big 12. They fought 3-1. They came in that game undefeated. Arizona State is 2-0 in the Big 12, and they dropped to 4-1 overall, losing them only Mississippi State, a SEC team. And to be honest, that Mississippi State loss at the moment for Arizona State does not look that bad. It just doesn't. I'm just being honest. Because Mississippi State, they look to be a well-disciplined team. TCU probably should have pulled the game away, because they won a turnover after 3 turnovers, one fumble loss, I think, or something like that in the game. But they were not able to run the ball at all. It don't seem like they want to run the ball. They really don't. They only had like 54 rushing yards before you take all your minus out. Arizona State was able to rush for over 200 yards, so and then pass for over 250 in the game. So that's what they're going to bring, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when you look at this Arizona State team, this is what they're going to give you, man. This is what they're going to give you. They're going to do that. Sam Levitt was 26-38 in the game, 262 yards to be exact. Played a great game. I think Sam Levitt, man. I like Sam Levitt, man. He balls out, man. He really does. 27 for 39, 291, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Josh Hoover was 20 for 32, 242 yards, and 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. They just couldn't rush as a team. Josh Hoover getting sacked. The lost yardage he got, man, was just crazy. Arizona State was able to apply pressure. Raleek Brown was just running all over them. 21 carries, 134 yards. Sam Levitt had 13 carries, 62 yards. Yeah, they're a problem. And not only that, they got a receiver in Jordan Tyson that can really get active. And Raleek Brown can catch out of the backfield. Jordan Tyson had 8 receptions, 126 yards. However, you can spread the ball around on that TCU team. You got guys like Dozie E, you know what I'm saying? Chase Curtis, Jordan Dwyer, DJ Rogers, Joseph Manjack, you know what I'm saying? Those guys, as a collective, I think they spread the ball around. Josh Hoover really does. It seemed to work early on with some other teams, but look, they came to play. Shamar McTeer had 4 receptions, 25 yards. Jaron Hamilton had 1 reception, 44 yards. Blake Brown had 9 receptions, 50 yards. Cameron Harpool had 2 receptions, 27 yards. Malik McClain had a reception, 15 yards. Dick Bezo had a other tight end, I believe it is. I don't think so, but Kamar Anderson had a catch. Sam Levitt balled out, man. He had a good game. Defensively, Miles Roser, number 4, was the leading tackler over there at Arizona State. They played good, man. Played good. 16 total, 6 total sacks. Arizona had 4. Plus the 2 picks. Arizona State, I mean, great game. Great game, man. By both of those teams, and shout out to them. Arizona State, I think, is a well-balanced team. They seem to be one of the more well-balanced teams in the Big 12. The Big 12 got some balanced football teams. Arizona State, looking so far, Arizona State, I would have to say Iowa State is another one. I think Utah could be a little bit more balanced too, even though they took a tough L to Texas Tech. The Big 12 got some football teams. They really do. They really got some good. They really got some good football teams going on. But I think, honestly, and before I move on up into the next game, I got to say that I mentioned the SEC being the parity hitting the SEC, and what we're seeing in the SEC to me is the parity, and I knew the SEC was going to beat up on each other. I knew it. I called it for years. I've been talking about it for the past 2 years, but you're really seeing it this year. The SEC beating up on each other, and what do I mean by that? When you see a team like Ole Miss come and being able to beat LSU, we'll talk about that game later, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. And then next week, this upcoming week, we're going to see the Florida Gators take on the Texas Longhorns, and the Gators got a really good defense. And the last time we seen Manning, the last time we seen him go up against a tough defense, he didn't look too good, even in playing the teams that he played in the G5 and the Cupcake games. A lot of that quarterback play wasn't so. We're gonna see when he go ahead and he's got Cormani McClain on one side and those guys coming at him for Florida State. That Florida Gators defense. We're gonna see what happens. You know, a lot of people looking forward to that, but I think those is where those games you get upset at. Like, who would thought, Kellen DeBoer, Alabama team is able to get a run, or that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what we're going to see. But I also think that we're not done seeing that neither in the Big Ten. I don't think we're done seeing that in the Big Ten. You're going to start seeing those teams like that. So that's what the parity's doing all over across the board. It's hurting the mid-majors, them losing a lot of their good talent, and they still got to continue to develop talent. But at the same time, that talent being able to go to other teams and help out, I think is why you'll see those losses and those wins like that. You'll see losses in unexpected ways. It's really good. It's good. It makes for good football. It's hard on the bettors, I think. You know what I mean? But who really cares about that, though, right? You know what I'm saying? Moving on to the next game. Shout out to Arizona State being able to pull this game off, though, against TCU. Very good game for both teams, TCU and Arizona. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The fighting alumni at USC. I knew that. I told y'all last week, Indiana they put the little eye in Illinois, but Indiana, I think now some people looking at Indiana and saying, okay, Curt Cignetti actually is a good coach. Curt Cignetti is actually putting together a good football program. Curt Cignetti is probably going to be talked about a lot through mainstream media. I mean, it is what it is. Indiana, even though I'm talking about Illinois and Brett Bielema's team, I told y'all last week that even with that 63-10 victory, I thought it was good for Illinois. I did. And some people like, Trey can just be talking. No, I don't. I watch football how you watch football. I just say things that you think that you won't say, and that the things that you dare to say, I'll say it out loud. You know what I mean? That's all it is. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks these kind of things, but you just don't say it because, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. We're just people. But I'm not self. I'm going to be myself. And that's what you get over here. You get special like that. And like I said, it's good to lose like that sometimes in games because it shows you a lot as a team. And I think us seeing Illinois fight back the way they did and being able to beat SC, a good SC team, by the way, I don't think that SC is bad. Just because they lost to Illinois and Illinois got blown out, I think we got to be able to, these scores sometimes is just like that team was the better team that day. I think that team was just a better team in that particular day. But when and that's just it. Indiana was clicking on all cylinders. Everything was aligning so perfect for them. They executed at a high level. They played a well-disciplined football game, and when you can do that, when you can play a well-disciplined football game, and when you can keep the havoc plays at a minimum, and everything else, man, it works out in your favor. And I think Illinois were able to overcome some of the turnovers and play a good game. Look, I think they controlled the clock. I think they controlled the clock in this game really well. Look, Luke Altmaier looked like the 5-star, highly touted quarterback he looked like coming out, passing the ball. I think that a lot of these guys, we didn't expect to see that kind of game out of those two teams. I think people were more expecting those two teams to play a little bit more methodically, and they did. If you watch that game with Illinois and SC, you seen a methodic. It was more methodical than the actual score kind of shows. And the stats show, right? The stats just showed they was just all over everywhere, right? They was getting it in, you know what I mean? And when Luke Altmaier takes care of the ball and he's a good game manager, when you 20 for 26, 328 yards and 2 touchdowns, I mean, look, that not only does that say it, but the game is like he took care of the ball and he plays slow, methodical ball. They spread the ball around the running backs. He ran when he needed it to, and it wound up showing. It showed in the game, man. It really did. Get Caden Fegan. They made a statement to get him going, and when he couldn't get going, let's get Khalil Valentine in there. Let's get him going a little bit. Let's kind of, hit him with a little bit of Khalil Valentine, a little bit of Caden Fegan. Luke, take off when you need to. Let's introduce Aiden Lottery. Let's get him in there for a couple of carries. And when they did that, it worked so great in the game, and it just all came together. Am I out on Jaden Maivia? Absolutely not. He threw one pick. They asked him to win this game on his arm, and they almost did. Came from UNLV. And they asked him to win this game on his arm, and they almost did, bro. He was 30 for 43 in the game, 364 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had 1 pick. Raymond Jordan he had 20 carries, 94 yards in the game. I mean, SC didn't play bad. McCollum, and he did what he do. 2 touchdowns, 11 receptions, 151 yards. Did what he did. Colin Dixon for the Illinois had 4 receptions, 90 yards. Hank Betty had 6 receptions, 81 yards. Caden Fegan had 3 of them for 67 yards. Justin Bowick had 1 for 25. Like they were able to get a little bit more bigger plays in them. You know what I'm saying? That's it. The longest pass they had was for SC was to Nuke Hines. The 30-yard reception he had. You know what I'm saying? In the game. So I mean, each his own, but they still did what they do. And Jaden Maivia was asked to do a lot, and I think he answered the call. And I think we've seen 2 really good football teams that could possibly be somewhere late in this year, battling for position, and we're seeing good football. We really are. We're seeing a lot of good football. I hope that we're able to, see some good. A lot of people don't like bowl games, but I would like to see if these teams can't. A lot of these teams can't make the playoffs. It's good because we're seeing a lot of good football teams, and everybody can't make the playoffs. So I would like to see some of these teams playing some good bowl games. You know what I'm saying? I really would, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because everybody's not going to make it, but it's collectively looking around the college football this year. You're seeing a lot of good teams, taking care of the ball. The quarterbacks being able to manage the offense, playing good team defense. Even after a loss, 63-10 to come out and to be a good USC team, I think is good, man. USC will. I believe in that. I think they'll bounce back from this loss. It was only about 2 points. They came back in the game. They let it get away from them at times, but they came back 32-34, fighting alumni, won that game. SC, I think Lincoln Riley's team is rallying back. But I think I don't know. In the Big Ten, I think they'll be all right, man. I think SC will be all right, to be honest. because SC, I don't know who SC got left on the schedule. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to say, I really don't know who they got left on their schedule, but I'm pretty sure the CSC. You know, the remaining schedule will be good to try to check out, but you know, because for both teams moving forward, I think we're going to see some good teams, man, some good games, for real. All right, I'll go through the schedule towards the end, and try to get through this, and I'll try to look at the schedule towards the end of this, you know, everything, right? Shout out to both teams. Ohio State and Washington. Once again, Ohio State looks like they are the number one team in college football. Once again, let's just call it what it is. They do 4-0 right now, 1-0 in the Big Ten, and they just look like can't nobody stop that buzzsaw of a football team. Ohio State is just give them give Ryan Day his just due, man. Give him his just due, dog. Like, come on, dog. Ryan Day got it right now. They gave Ryan Day all kinds of heck. Like, just give it to the man right now, y'all. Like, he about to be he's the new age guy. Ryan Day is one of them dudes right now, and I think and look, I'm gonna give him his flowers right now because Ohio State is they're it, man. They're it. You all week long, all you heard on mainstream was Washington is the game for upset alert, or Washington, Ohio State going to Washington. Ohio State don't look like this. Julian Sand just don't look like that. Julian Sand being this and that, blah blah blah. You're like it just started to just womp 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 womp. That's what you start to hear, Charlie Brown voice. You know what I'm saying? Because we're watching college football, we know better, dog. Like, there's people out here that really just sit down, like, that get a lot of time on their hands throughout the week, and when they're really looking at the game, studying these teams, looking into them, and knowing that Ohio State, we just ain't pulling up. We ain't so busy with businesses that we just pulling up at you know what I mean, last minute getting on TV talking about a game. No. And if you are watching film, then I don't even know why you would I get it, why you would think that Washington can hang with Ohio State. Ohio State is that squad. Ryan Day and that staff over there got it going on in Ohio State. They just do, man. They're not getting the best recruits, you know what I'm saying, for no reason. Guys, Jeremiah, Florida, the Florida kids ain't coming all the way up north for no reason. They coming up here to win. They going all the way up north to win. You hear me? They going up there to win, to play on the winning football team. You getting the best of the best of the recruiting, man. They really balling up there, man. Michigan ain't too far behind. And the only reason why I can say Michigan is a little bit behind is only because they got a rookie quarterback. But he's so good. He's so good that you can't even say that about him. But I mean, that Damon Williams, 18 for 22, 173 yards, no touchdowns, no picks in the game. I think he'll be good for Washington. Hopefully, Jad Fish could keep that team together because look, they look good. They did look good against Ohio State. I'm not gonna lie, they looked very good against Ohio State. Ohio State scored last minute, second quarter. And I get why you would say that, but that shows the resilience in Ohio State. Julian Sands, he's looking really, really good. 22 for 28, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. You ain't got to be world beaters. When you playing these tough games like this, you just got to take care of the ball. You ain't got to throw for 250, 300 to win a football game. Bo Jackson, a true freshman out of Ohio State, 17 carries, 80 yards. C.J. Donaldson had 9 for 39. I don't know. Bo Jackson looked like he stepped up this game. Jonah Coleman, 13 rushers for Washington, 70 yards. Adam Muhammad had 3 for 13. James Peoples had 3 for 10 for Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith had 8 receptions, 81 yards. Brandon Ennis had 3 for 31. Carnell Tate had 3 for 33. Desmond Roebuck had 4. He had 4 catches for Washington, 58 yards. Jonah Coleman had 3 for 26. Denzel Boston had 3 for 26. I I really like the middle linebacker over there. For real. Ungalele, that them guys are spread out. They are spread out. The Ungaleles are spread out. Washington, Oregon, they balling. They balling. Should DJU been playing defense instead of offense? I think so. You know what I'm saying? I think he just so big to where, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what DJU do at defensive end. I'm just saying. They big athletic guys. Family is. Shout out to the Ungaleles. They be balling. But yeah, you got Sonny Styles, and people forget people like Caden Curry on the defensive line, Caden McDonald. These guys don't get mentioned, but then when they show up on the stat sheet and you see these guys just balling out there at Biggest and David at Biggest, and you like, who is these guys? Lorenzo Styles, like you be forgetting. All you hear is Caleb Downs, Jerry McClain, you forget about him. Aaron Scott, you forget about him. Jeremiah Matthews, forget about him. Like Ohio State is stacked. And these guys know how to play. And they got one of the best defensive coordinators in college football. What are we talking about? Like, we ain't like Ohio State, they really are that team, man. They looking real tough to beat. Shout out to Washington, though, because I think Washington is a tough football team. And losing to Ohio State 24-6, I think is just like it's an early wake-up call for them. But Damon Williams is a young quarterback. Jad Fish, keep him up there. You're going to continue to get recruits. You're going to continue to get some receiving recruits up there. A good running back that could catch out of the backfield. Also, you're going to continue to get the recruits, the big bodies in Washington, like y'all always do. Y'all always seem to get some big Samoan guys over there. And I think if Jad Fish stayed put in Washington, I think, you want to see them jobs like South Carolina open up and go to the SEC. But, look, the Big Ten is just as relevant as the SEC to me. In my eyes, I think the Big Ten, they're giving the SEC a run for their money right now. They just are. They just are. Like, if we being honest about college football, the Big Ten, they got just as many good football programs and prestigious programs as the SEC. And I would stay put from Jad Fish. The longer you stay put, I think the more the culture's already set, already built. Washington ain't ideal I think as far as the weather, but I think it's a beautiful place up there. The country is beautiful up that way. Drove through there a couple of times. I haven't seen, I'm northern guy, but northwest weather, yeah, it could get rainy, but look, it's beautiful up there. Just is. And I would stay put. I really would. I would stay put from Jad Fish. Continue to build culture up and continue to build on what you got in Damon Williams, and that's going to continue to bring other recruits. For real, I would. But hey, if you could take opportunity, you would. I guess some people say, "Well, you're crazy." Well, you wouldn't leave Washington. No, Washington is Washington has a name in the Big Ten. You dig? Like Washington is one of them teams in the Big Ten. They are. Whether we want to admit it or not, Washington is a respected name in the Big Ten. I think, and they will be for years to come. Period. LSU and Ole Miss. I talked about this game a little bit. Look, I actually took Ole Miss in the point, so I'm not upset. But I did think that LSU was going to win straight. I wasn't mad that Ole Miss pulled it off, but this is what I'm talking about when we talk parity. Now, people are going to say that Brian Kelly can't win the big games and and they can't beat Ole Miss and this and that. They found one. Ole Miss found one, man. Ole Miss found one. When you seem to put pressure on guys, some guys just can't answer the bell. Some guys just can't answer the bell. Let's just call it what it is. We hyped up Garrett Nussmeier, and we hyped up Arch Manning. We hyped up Drew Aller, and there's a couple of guys that's been more consistent than those guys than in the Big Ten and in the Big 12, and also guys that come in to light like Trinidad Chambliss. beating one of a lot of people's favorite out in Austin Simmons. If Trinidad Chambers continues to play the way he's playing, he's not going to lose that job. He beat LSU team, and I think the score does not effectively show the way that they actually beat that team. I think they did it handily. I think they did it soundly. I was surprised. I really was, but I think they handled business. I think they did. Lane Kiffin team to handle business like that, to be 3-0 in the SEC, 5-0 overall. But I do think that they'll run into a team unexpected in the SEC, and they will play them tougher. I do think so. Garrett Nussmeier in the game for LSU was 21 for 34, 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Trinidad Chambers was 23 for 39, 314 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Also had 14 carries for 71 yards. He is a freak. He looks like the best quarterback right now in college football. One of the best. Trinidad Chambers looks like one of the best quarterbacks in college football for Ole Miss. Yes, he does. When you throw for 300 yards on an LSU team that's ranked number 4 in the country, number 4 in the country, I think that's the highest ranked SEC team. I could be tripping, but I think was LSU the highest ranked SEC team. I can't remember who they got number 1. But anyway, that's crazy. He ran for 71 yards and threw for over 300. Kyron Lacey had 23 carries for 87 yards. LSU could not run the ball. Once again, that is a worry. I think it all started in a Florida game where they had 5 interceptions, and then a lot of people said that offense ain't what it is. I think a lot of LSU fans had questions about the offense then when they had 5 interceptions and they couldn't capitalize off any of those turnovers, and rightly so, because now it's starting to show. When you're the number 4 team in the country and you drop to a team, but let's just be honest, it's a SEC team, and see, for the people around college football, when the Big Ten teams lose to each other and when the SEC teams lose to each other, Ole Miss and LSU, you can't have a better loss than that. You don't play Ole Miss. You don't know what it's like right now playing against Trinidad Chambers. You won't get that replica at all. You can think you can get close. You can get close to Trinidad Chambers. I mean, I'm a Devin Dampier. But that's the kind of status he's on. But obviously, he's spinning it so well against SEC defenses. You honestly got to say you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, the Big 12 is showing that they're playing good football, but you got to get them the benefit of the doubt when you in the SEC, which is like, the professional college football. Let's just call it what it is. Big 10, SEC. He's spinning it like that, getting busy on the defense like that. Like, regardless, you want to say Lane Kiffin's quarterback friendly offense. Like, okay. A lot of those runs he took off on LSU was unscripted, just making plays, spreading the ball around the way that he's spreading the ball around. He seems to be scanning the field. I know that they say Lane Kiffin's offense is just drop back, one read, throw it, and get rid of it. He seems to be scanning the field pretty well. You got Deshaun Stribling out there, Harrison Wallace, Kyron Lacey, Caleb Odom, Weston Watkins, Deuce Alexander, Daquan Wright, got Caden Lee. You spreading the ball around to those guys. I mean, it looks pretty damn good to me. I'm just saying. He's doing what he do, man. He's doing what he do. Shout out to LSU, man. But that's all I was trying to say is that it's going to be tough moving forward for a lot of these teams, and I think we're going to continue to see those losses like that. But he's balling, man. They're balling really well. Shout out to LSU, but shout out to Ole Miss for being able to pull off that victory, man. Were they the underdog? I think they were the favorite. LSU was the underdog, so Ole Miss was the favorite in that game. But I think Vegas got it right in that one. I think they get. I got to talk about it. Auburn and Texas A&M, and rightly so, because Auburn and Texas A&M, man. It wasn't a high scoring game, but look, I think these are two teams. Another Texas A&M being another one of those teams in the SEC where you got to watch out for. That quarterback, Marcel Reed, 15 for 22, 207 yards. Yes, he threw a pick in the game. But I still want to say that Auburn, they got Jackson Arnold. I mean, I'm just saying, like, they're able to, like, look, they really couldn't do nothing. Texas A&M just they couldn't do nothing with them. Nothing. They threw for 125, and they had 52 rushing yards. Listen, Texas A&M defense held them to under 175 yards in the whole game total, like 180 yards. Let's just say 180 yards total, passing and running total. That's what that Texas A&M defense did. And when you got a defense that's playing like that, your quarterback can throw a pick and be 15 for 22, spread the ball around. And then when you got a running back like Le'Veon Moss, who was getting busy, who had over 139 yards. Yeah. They got a couple of backs. Over there at Texas A&M, and including Marcel Reed, I think, who could get busy. And I mean, the lost yardage that he had. But, man, listen, that defense came to play. For Texas A&M. And I think Auburn's defense is low-key good there, too. I think Hugh got a good defense, man. That's why I said they got Jackson Arnold, yo. I think Oklahoma fans right now is looking at Auburn like, man, y'all got what we had last year, dude. We know, we feel y'all pain, like we feel what y'all going through right now, and look, and I'm trying to stay away from, like, you know, and just critiquing the right way, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It's showing that you not there. You seeing ghosts. When you couldn't hit your guys. You got some guys out there, man. You got some receivers, man. Eric Singleton he's a beast. Eric Singleton is a beast. You got to get him in space, Auburn, y'all got to get him in space. Jeremiah Cobb is a beast. I like Cobb. I really like Cobb. I'm not going to lie. I like Cobb because he can play both ways. They couldn't seem to get it going with the run game against that tough A&M defense. I understand that. But get him the ball in space, too. But, yo, he couldn't hit nobody. He couldn't hit nobody, bro. And I get it. I know Concepcion had a heck of a game when you got speed like that, but Eric Singleton is good too. I know it, man. Like Texas A&M, but I think now they gotta move up. I don't know. They've been in the top 10. The A&M been in the top 10. I don't know if they're top 5, but they sure look like they got a top 5 defense. I must say, because Auburn that's a tough defense too, y'all. I'm just gonna say I like the way they play defense. Marcel Reed got some things to learn, but I think that A&M team, A&M got a squad. I think they on the rise. I think that's why I said the SEC. It's gonna be tough. Like ain't nothing like it in college football. There ain't nothing like that SEC. Shout out to Texas A&M and Auburn. Though good battle for both teams, man. Very good battle. A&M was able to get it 16-10 final score. Yes. Indiana, Iowa. Y'all know I was going to talk about the Indiana Iowa game. Y'all know I was still going to talk about it. Before I got on up out of here. It's only right, man. Indiana, Kurt Signetti, man, taking on Kurt France's team. Listen to me, bro. Like, this dude is. I told y'all that Fernando Mendoza was better than Curtis Rourke from last year in that offense. I told y'all that. Not to say that Mark Gronkowski, the transfer from South Dakota or North Dakota State, came one of them. Anyway, he didn't play a good game. He played a good game. I think it was 19 for 25, 144 yards. He threw one pick for Iowa. Threw one pick, and he's also a dual threat. They tried to get busy as he could in that offense of Iowa's. That's more conservative. They play good, sound defense, and Kirk Ferentz, he's just a very good evaluator of talent. He's a very good neutralizer. That's what he is. Kirk Ferentz at Iowa is a very good neutralizer of your best talent. He knows how to game plan and use his talent that he has to neutralize what you do best and to keep the score low. We're going to play methodical ball. I'm going to neutralize your best asset, and you're going to have to beat me. You're going to have to play a sound game, and you know what I'm saying? But it's going to be low. You're not going to just blow me out the water. That's why any team that just blows out Iowa, when you score over 30 points on Iowa, it's like, okay, that team is good. But even to put up 20 and to win that tough game, the way that Fernando Mendoza showed poise in that game says something about him, right? And I can't remember if I put him in my top 5 in the Big Ten or not, but it just keep going back to that Miami game. It just keeps replaying in my head every time I say Fernando Mendoza. I just go right back to last year's Miami game. But I've seen him. I mean, you heard about it because you've seen the stats and you're like, okay, Mendoza. But you seen it in that game. You're like, oh, he was in a shootout. If he can get to a team that can play, this dude it's going to show. And when you got Omar Cooper, EJ Williams, Roman Henry catching out of the backfield, and Elijah Surratt, man, just ask them. Ask Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt. By the way, 2 very underrated receivers in this country in college football that I think that can ball with the best of them. And when you got a Fernando Mendoza, though, as how accurate he is, man. But I like I said, they neutralized Fernando Mendoza. They knew Iowa knew going into this game the same thing that everybody else out there knows or that watches the film and also watches the game same way I do. They knew. Fernando Mendoza is the leader of that offense. They get that run game going, watch out. That's a very, very tough team to beat when you got the running back. When you got Roman Henry or Kalen Black going for 80 or more yards in a game, that is a very, very tough team to beat. I'm just being honest. That is a very tough team to beat. And I think Iowa did a fantastic job, like I said, at neutralizing those guys as best as they could. But Fernando Mendoza was 13 for 23. He threw a pick in the game, 233 yards, and he also had 2 touchdowns. Very good game, and it showed a lot. Indiana off to a 5-0 start in the Big Ten. That defense is coming to play. They are coming to play. And then, I mean, I know we hear a lot about D'Angelo Pons on defense, but we miss other guys like Isaiah Jones, Lewis Moore, Tariq Tucker, Keelan Wyatt. We miss other names out there too. You know what I'm saying? They bringing it. These guys are playing ball. And shout out to them, man. For real. Shout out to Iowa too, man, because I think they're a very well coached team. It's a very, very well coached team. And they're gonna sneak in a W or 2, but Indiana off to a very good start. Very good start, man. 5-0 overall, 2-0 in the Big Ten. And I think they got a favorable schedule. I really think I think they only see like one other good Big Ten team. I can't remember offhand, but I think they might see Penn State or Oregon. I can't remember which one it is. Or I don't think they played Michigan. But anyhow, very good team. I think they got Michigan State though later on this year. So Big Ten, shout out to them. Man, good game. Tennessee and Mississippi State, man. Could I say, man, Tennessee and Mississippi State, that game, Mississippi State, I think Mississippi State is what I was looking at in this game because Tennessee, I thought that they would probably pass a lot more, right? But seeing the way that Mississippi State responded in this game, even though they're on one in the SEC, they did beat Arizona State, and I don't think Arizona State is a bad team. I just having a hard time of saying like where is the weak spot on this team, because they're running the ball really well. Shout out to Phil Lodeholt, the offensive line coach over there at Mississippi State that came from CU. Shout out to him. Lodeholt is a problem. They're running the ball really, really well over there at Mississippi State. Really well. They're running the ball. And when you're able to control the clock that way, and play some decent defense, I think that's a recipe. And I think that Mississippi State is trending the right way. I honestly do. I think they're trending up towards the right way. Things is looking up. I think they'll get better at quarterback play. I think Blake Shippen, I think he's having a rough go, but it's okay though. It's okay. Because this game, I think it went to overtime. This game went to overtime, so they almost pulled this game off, man. They did. They Mississippi State should have won this game. By the way, by running the ball, Joey Aguilar, shout out to him. I mean, threw 40 times, 24 for 40 in the game, 335 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. They shouldn't have won that game, technically, but got 2 receivers over 100 yards. Chris Bays was second. Had 6 receptions, 105 yards, and Mike Matthews had 6 receptions, 115 yards. That sounds like a winning game, but that defense at Mississippi State, they came to play. They played sound. Really, really good, really good game, man. And I'm looking at both of these teams now, and Tennessee and Mississippi State. Tennessee, they got off to a decent start, but looking at Mississippi State, I don't want to take nothing away from them, and I think that they've earned their respect to see them play Tennessee like that and almost pull that game off. I think as well, man. I think it was a well-fought game, honestly, man. I really do. Joey Aguilar, I think he threw that thing around, gunslinging in that offense. I think he got to get a little bit more comfortable and just stop being so gung-ho. You know what I mean? Make the right decisions. Live to throw another down, man. But they got to get a run game. They got to get a better run game going in Tennessee. I know they like to throw the ball. I know that's what they do, spread, but they got to run that ball a little bit better. And they didn't run it bad. But let's lean on Bishop a little bit more. You know what I mean? Lean on Star Thomas and Bishop a little bit more, man. You know what I'm saying? Really couldn't get too much going. I get it. But 10 and 11 carries for your running backs. I think, 31. They ran 31 total times, but I think that, instead of Aguilar and Peyton Lewis doing that, lean on them running backs a little bit more to do that. Aguilar can get a little bit loose, and he did for a touchdown. But, yeah, that run game, more balanced game, throwing for 40 times in the game. I don't think that Tennessee is going to be able to beat a lot of teams in the SEC dropping back and throwing that much, especially when you I don't know if they see Texas A&M, but an A&M team, you're not going to be that's not a winning game at all versus A&M. But shout out to both teams, Tennessee and Mississippi State. I think that was a good game. I had to talk about that overtime game. Another overtime game, man. Great games, man. Oregon and Penn State, man. Great game, man. Great fought game, hard fought game. I think when you look at Oregon and Penn State, right? You see, it was that game that is just so good. Dante Moore doing this thing, and you want to just root for Aller, right? Because you've been hearing his name so much. So much. You just been hearing Aller. He's going to be one of the first guys, first round pick. He's 6'5", 230 pounds. He's going to be one of the guys. And believe you me, I thought that Aller would be a first rounder too. Because he has the prototypical size, right? But I also said what I wanted to see out of Drew Aller. I made my top 5 picks, but I also said what I wanted to see out of the guys and what I think they needed to work on. Drew Aller, and this is a lot of them, but it's what you need in the NFL. And this is what the NFL guys look for. Post, snap, reads. And this is why I'm saying there is no rush for these quarterbacks to come out next year. There's no rush. There's no rush no more. Because the NFL is not going to take it lightly on you criticizing you and critiquing your gameplay. The analysts are not going to take it easy at all. You're not going to be forgiving. You won't last long to get the big money. That if you plan on going to the NFL and getting the big money, I think you should absolutely take your time as a quarterback in college football to get to the NFL to work on your craft, right? Because they're not going to develop you that much there. And you want to make sure that you're checking all boxes before you go. Don't listen to your street agent. Get you if you got to talk to the coaches yourself and ask around and use some of your resources just to ask the coach and say, what do you think I need to work on that's going to make me a high valuable guy in the NFL? I think some guys should actually start working on some of those things. And why am I saying this? Because Drew Aller was just we've been saying it all season out of him. Whether it was versus the Cupcakes or not, but now you see it versus a competent team. You 14 for 25, and without Tyler Warren, one of the best. He's even doing this thing as a rookie in the NFL. So just imagine what he was doing in college, just absolutely tearing people up. I mean, anytime you come from being a center and then catching a bomb up straight up the middle of the seam of the field, it's just crazy. Anyway, he had 2 touchdowns in the air. I'm not going to say that he didn't, but he also had 2 picks. And they couldn't get a run game going. That's why I thought Drew Aller should have been better. Now, what did Drew Aller? What did he put on display was his running ability, and I think that's something you look at, right? 14 for 25 in a game versus Oregon, and 1 pick. I think you could say it cost him the game because he didn't see that shell coverage. Covered through. I think they dropped. I just off top. If I could go back and think about the play, I didn't actually pause and play it or look at the all 22. I got to be honest about that. Didn't go and look at but just off the replays and looking at the play, I think they dropped into like a cover 3 shell, and he didn't recognize it in this shell coverage and just dropping on the line is. Even there's some pro quarterbacks who struggle with that, but zone coverages are absolutely killing these college quarterbacks. Post-snap zone coverage reads, disguising man and dropping to a zone post-snap on these college quarterbacks are absolutely destroying them. It just is. I'm just being honest. And I think that's what makes Dante Moore a little bit better, because whatever Dan Lanning and them got Dante Moore up there doing in Oregon, Bo Nix was able to get through it. Hold on. Drop a bomb for me. Dylan Gabriel was able to get through it. Hold on. Drop a bomb for me. And now Dante Moore is able to get through it. And I think that there's something cooking up there with Dan Lanning in Oregon when it comes to these quarterbacks. I'm telling y'all, because guys are actually seeing these they're seeing something, man. They're recognizing coverages. They're pointing out pre-snaps, adjusting post-snap. Just don't take it from me. Watch the film. These Oregon quarterbacks are doing that. And look, the stat not only just does the stats show it, but it shows it on film. When you see him, the touch passes he's throwing touch passes and the different velocity throws Dante Moore is doing, whether it's sidearm, overarm, touch pass. He's doing that because there's the zones. The zone, I gotta get it over the linebacker, drop it down. It gotta be here. It gotta be there. Man, just shout out to Dan Lanning and the crew, and shout out to the whole Oregon coaching staff. Y'all are doing a phenomenal job with y'all quarterbacks. I'm 100% positive the NFL loves what y'all doing. But to all the college quarterbacks, if you got that COVID year to use, absolutely use it to work on something else. I'm telling you to absolutely just perfect your game, because I think it just makes you that much of a better asset and that much NFL ready. The NIL bag is huge. I don't care what people want to say about you being a 24-year-old, 25-year-old quarterback in college. So what? So be it. You got things you need to work on. If you could work on it in a conference like the SEC or the Big Ten for an extra year and develop it, just the little nuances to the game before you go to the NFL, absolutely do it. I think it's 100% worth doing it. I just do. I honestly do. I just do. But it was a great game watching Oregon and Penn State play. It really was. I think they fairly they did it. They did a good job. Dan Lanning and Oregon did a good job. When you watch them play Northwestern, if you've seen that game, Northwestern was actually able to run the ball on them. But a David Braun team is a physical football team, so I don't think I was too surprised to see, honestly, to see Northwestern run the ball like that. But Penn State wasn't. Ketron Allen and Singleton was not able to get going. Singleton only had 21 yards. Ketron Allen had 54, 12 carries, 54 yards. They couldn't get going on that Oregon defense. Shout out to them. Ungalele did a good job on that defensive line. They was playing good. They played pretty good. Dyer Hill had 82 yards for Oregon. Dante Moore had some rushes, 10 for 35. And that was pretty much the bulk of their thing, too, because Penn State played a good, as far as the run, decent-wise. I mean, a couple unscheduled throws. I mean, they did give up 82 to one running back, 10 rush for 82 yards. I think that's 8 yards per carry. He was punching them in the mouth. He definitely was. Big holes there. So excuse me, bring that back. But couldn't really. They had Trevor Pena. Couldn't really get him going at all. Couldn't get Luke Reynolds going at all. Couldn't get Khalil Dinkins going at all. Couldn't get Devon Ross had 4 catches for 48 yards. But Trevor Pena being there at Penn State, he was one of the best receivers at Syracuse last year for Cal. So, I mean, to be honest, now they did good job defensively, but I think I just don't know, man. I think Drew Allers, like I said, post snap, some things broke down. Even when he scrambled, I think he panicked a little bit in the pocket, missed some throws, and then that was there. And to be honest, like I said, I got to go back and really see about that. But quick watching that, I think I've seen a couple of them. And but these teams, man, they really played good. Bear Alexander going over there showed up big. Like I said, Ungalele, that team, man, they got the size, they got the players. Oregon looks good. Top 5 team right now, you ask me, for sure. Penn State was some people's number one. I doubt Penn State was one of them. Drew Aller got some things to work on, but I thought that it was overall. Well, like I said, I think it was his overall post-snap reads with him was a big thing. And I seen that last year in those big games where they would do that to him and he would throw into those coverages, seeing it late. Got to see it. Got to anticipate it. You gotta see it, see what you're seeing pre-snap. And quarterback ain't easy. It's just that what I see the good ones do and what I see works on film, right? You see what their set is in. That was your pre-snap read on that. You know, they communicate with your receivers. You got time. You're at home. You got to take advantage of those home games, because even for him to be able to do it on the road is even more spectacular. What Dante Moore even did, because he did it on the road in a whiteout at Penn State. And when you got home for Drew Aller, you got to be able to communicate with receivers. You got Trevor Pena. He's a beast. He's really him. Trevor Pena is a beast at receiver. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Communicate. Look, we got this. I'm looking at this. You know what to do here. If this happens, you know what I'm saying? I got an option here, got an option there. And not really seeing that. But or maybe I could be tripping, because it's just not an easy position. It's not an easy position to play quarterback at all. It's not easy. It's not. None whatsoever. It's a very hard position. But one thing I will agree with, and I heard a lot of the quarterback guys saying it, if you're thinking when you playing quarterback, you playing a position wrong. You gotta know what to do. If you're thinking in the pocket, it's wrong. You're wrong. If you're thinking, throw it away, scramble, it's not good. Can't be thinking a quarterback. You got to know. I got to know the situation I'm in, or the situation I'm going into. I know the situation I might be going into, and the situation I'm into. If I see them dropping to cover 3 here, I got this. If I see them dropping to cover 2 here, I got this. If I see them dropping to the cover 1, if they go man up, I can go here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know that as a quarterback. And a lot of programs are not. A lot of quarterbacks are not learning that at the college level. They're just not. They're not learning that at the college level. And Norton and neither is the coaches holding their players accountable or teaching their quarterbacks that at the collegiate level. And I think they're not going to do it in the NFL. No, they're definitely not going to develop you in the NFL. But should these guys be knowing this in college? Absolutely. But the quarterbacks that don't know it, they'll continue to lose and throw picks in overtime and fourth quarter games. And the programs who do teach their quarterbacks this will continue to win. Simple as that. Auburn and Auburn, excuse me. Sorry, Alabama fans. Alabama and Georgia, the Bulldogs. That game went down, man. It was lit. It was definitely lit. It was. It's a rival game. If you think about it, Georgia did fantastic on Alabama in the second half of that game. They did. Georgia played Alabama fantastic in the second half of that game. They could not do nothing on them in the second half of that game. Absolute shutout. Absolutely shut them out the second half of that game. Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart is one of the best at adjusting game time and during the game. He's the best one of the best in college football at doing that. Like, when you get Georgia, you got to go up on Georgia like how Alabama went up on Georgia in order to beat them. You got to put up 24 or more points. If you're going to get ahead of Georgia and beat Georgia, you got to just be out on them in the first half. But in the second half, they probably will win the second half of that football game. And Georgia absolutely won the second half of the football game. They just did. They did. Alabama could do nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I don't care what you say, y'all. They couldn't do nothing. But I think it showed a little bit, little something. Gunnar Stockton, I think, took care of the ball pretty well. 13 for 20, 130 yards. You could do that when you got a back that got over 100 yards. Chauncey Barnes, 12 yards for 119, 12 carries for 119 yards. You could do that. Jan Miller had 16 carries for 46 yards. Kevin Riley had 10 carries for 30 yards. Jerry Bernard Simpson, they did their thing. I think Caden Proctor had a rush in that game, which is crazy. But look, it went down as a rush. It did, but it did. Anyway, listen, y'all. Ty Simpson, man, 24 for 38, 278 6 yards, 2 touchdowns in the game. I think, I did look, man. He looked good. He's looking better, and I thought they would. I was trying to tell. Shout out to Vic, man. If you ever watching it, man. But shout out to Vic. He was like, yo, man, we got he was really down when they lost that game to Florida State, and I'm like, well, I'm really not gonna be to hang my hat on that too much about Bama. They might bounce back, and they have. And this is that parity and what we're talking about in college football. Guys just being able to ball. Zachariah Branch is just absolutely irrelevant in this game. Great job by Alabama to neutralize him. Zachariah Branch, not neutralize, but excuse me, because he had three touches for 35 yards, but he got to get in the end zone. You got to get that man the ball in space. And I think they tried to do that with trying to give him a couple of rushes. And they really couldn't get it going like that. But Gunnar Stockton only had 130 yards because they was able to run the ball in that game. They slowed the game down, took control of that game. Kobe Young had a touchdown in that game, 4 receptions, 59 yards. They did their thing as far as they could, but Isaiah Horton, bro. 5 receptions, 65 yards. Ryan Williams had 5 receptions, 43 yards, didn't have a touchdown. Jeremy Bernard, 5 receptions, 35 yards, and a touchdown. Jeremy Bernard is a beast. Kevin Riley had a couple of touches. They got the ball around to the guys in space. Kellen DeBoer, man, he did his thing. And shout out to Alabama, man, because a lot of people, I think some people were saying that this was going to be an upset alert. Some people most definitely was paying attention to this as being one of those upsets, and I think they were right on that. But you see this team really gelling together. Alabama, like I said, the SEC is a problem. You're going to see this all through the SEC. Teams it's on in the SEC and in the Big Ten, in my opinion. These teams is going to beat each other, and just how they say the Big 12 beat up on each other, I think that's what you're going to start seeing in the SEC and in the Big 10. Like, I don't think there's going to be too much dominant teams, man. I don't think you're going to really see that. The undefeated is going to take a loss at some point. It just says, I think if Oregon, I don't know if Oregon played Ohio State, but I ain't talking about them. But yeah, in this game though, like Alabama came out on fire, man. They came out on fire and they played well. And I gotta give a shout out to that Alabama defense, because when it really came down to it, and when they really needed to answer that dinner bell, they answered it and ate that steak, bro. They answered it on time and they got the win, man. Shout out to Vic, because I know Vic is happy. I don't know if it's gonna reach him, but shout out to you, bro. Whether you watching it or not, but because I know that's your squad. Tough loss, AR. I know it is, my dog, but shout out to you too, man. But Georgia, they shut them out in the second half. They did. And so best believe if Georgia and Alabama play again, and most likely they will probably see each other again, it won't be the same game. It just won't. They know exactly what to do to neutralize them, how they're gonna come out, and everything else. But they got a squad. Good. Two very good SEC teams, man. That's definitely going to be playing later on. And I got to mention this Virginia Tech. Shout out to Virginia Tech and NC State, man. I had no idea that Virginia Tech was going to be NC State. And I got to talk about the ACC teams, because you got to show love to them, man. You got to show love to all the football games, man. I just can't talk about, you know what I'm saying, and leave some of these teams out, man. I gotta talk about all the games, man. I do. I try to talk about all the games and and show love to a lot of the teams out there, because these teams play week in, week out, man. They play their hearts out. They give it their all. And although Virginia Tech, they were able to pull it off, and I didn't think that they would, and a lot of people didn't. So I think this was one of those upset games. And when it came to the ACC, man, they balled out, because you think Kyron Drones, they came in this game 1-3, playing the ACC opponent that was already up. You know what I'm saying? 3-1, and North Carolina State should probably won, and they didn't. Virginia Tech was able to pull this off. Kyron Jones, I think they played a slow, methodical game. But when your running back is averaging the numbers that the way he's averaging, it's just tough to stop. What could you do? You can't do too much about that. You can't. Well, look, it's going to be a tough time when a team is rushing for over 253 yards. When you give up that much rushing on any team, and when Tyron Stewart is just going crazy on you the way he did with all the rushes he did in that game, that's tough. You gave up way too many rushing yards in that game, and they were able to control that game with that. And but I think that's where their bread is buttered at. And he took care of the ball. Kyron Jones didn't throw a pick in his game. He was 10 for 30, 20 for like 34, had like 165 yards, 2 tutties, and he got sacked twice. And I think took care of the ball pretty well and was able to run the ball. That's a winning recipe. That's it. That's it. Take care of the ball. Hit, we got it. We got to hit. Let's try to hit at least being at least, 57% of your throws. 60. If you could hit 60% or more of your throws as a quarterback in the game, I think that's just winning. You winning, period. See, if you can hit 60% of your passes as a quarterback in the game, you're probably most likely gonna win that game. Yeah, or you played a great game. And I mean, so let's just say if you're able to run the ball for 100 yards, complete 60% of your passes, I think that's a good game for a team offensively. I would say that. So the defense probably would have had to got some stops, but I think that's a real good winning recipe for a team to win the game. And they were dang near able to do that. They were dang near able to do that for Virginia Tech, and they pulled this game off. NC State, man, they gave up way too much on the ground, man. And I didn't like that. I just didn't. I think they tried to play a balanced game, but they couldn't get the run game going as well as they could on Virginia Tech. So shout out to Virginia Tech doing that. But I had to show some love to the ACC because Miami ain't up here this week, so I had to, throw them up in there for sure. I had to show some love to those guys because they is balling. I talk about the rest of the games here. So the rest of the college football games, let me try to go through this slate. Wrapping up week 5, man. College football, man. We had some great games. Let me try to go through this as quick as possible. So Florida State, the Seminole number 8 team in the country at the time, they took a L to Virginia. The Cavaliers, Chandler Moore's ex-quarterback from TCU on that championship team. He did get in that championship, didn't he? But wound up transferring from North Texas, ended up at Virginia with the Cavaliers. They were able to beat Florida State in two overtimes, 46-38 earlier this in the week. I'm pretty sure y'all saw that. Arizona State was able. I talked about Arizona State and TCU. Houston remains undefeated, y'all. They are 4-0 and they are 1-0 in the Big 12, but they are 4-0 right now. They beat Oregon State. Oregon State drops to 0-5 on the season. They beat them 27-24. Shout out to Houston. They remain undefeated. That loss for Colorado don't look too bad. They got a couple losses that don't look too bad. They lost to a couple of undefeated teams. All undefeated teams, actually. All undefeated teams, actually. If we're going to talk about it, Colorado, Colorado only lost to all undefeated teams, which is crazy. So far anyway. Yeah, but that happened there. Oregon State's having a tough time at it. Malik Murphy, I don't know what's going on with him. Got to stay put somewhere and develop, my guy. Got to stay put and develop. Stay put and develop. Got to. I think he's talented. I think he got the size, got the speed. Got to stay somewhere and get developed. Georgia Tech was able to get out, man, in a squeaky one to remain undefeated, 5-0, 2-0 in the ACC. Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons came to play that game, and they was only able to beat them 30-29. Georgia Tech, and with a scare about Wake Forest, what a game that was, man. That was a great game. That definitely was a great game with Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. Robbie Ashford getting busy out there, man. Them boys was balling. They was balling. That running back Clement, Claiborne, oh my goodness. Oh man, Claiborne's a beast, yo. He's a beast. NFL prospect running back for sure. Him from Wake Forest, man. Somebody gonna grab him up. And it ain't even gonna be low key. Somebody grabbing him ASAP, man. But great game by Georgia Tech. Show resiliency and coming back because they was down 1 point at 17-3 in that game, and they were able to come back and beat them. So I thought that was a great game. Shout out to Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame, man, on a 2-gamer, man. Right now, win streak, man. Being able to neutralize Tylen Green in that Arkansas offense. And they really did neutralize them. They beat them. The Fighting Irish beat Arkansas 56-13. That was amazing. And why was that so amazing? Because, Tylen Green, another 6'5" dual threat guy. The Arkansas offense is there. The offense is there for Arkansas, but Notre Dame was able to neutralize that offense. And let me tell you this right now, bro. I got to tell y'all this. that Arkansas defense is the problem. I knew they would give up points, but I honestly thought that Tyler Green was going to play a lot better. I'm expecting a lot of better play from Tyler Green moving forward. I think they got to at least get 5 more games in, man, before he's a decent draft pick. Be honest, but I'm really big on Tyler Green. I like him, man. 6'6", 230, 2 something. I'm really big on that guy. I think he has to come out this year. So I'm really paying attention to his gameplay and seeing what he got going on, man. But yeah, shout out to Notre Dame, man. What up, Cliff? What up, Cliff? They got one. 56-13, smacking the SEC team, Arkansas. Minnesota was able to beat Rutgers. Rutgers dropped to 3-2 in the Big Ten. Minnesota beats them 31-28. Didn't really check that out too much. Just giving y'all that one. Duke. Damn, man, ACC. I would have talked about this ACC game more, and I would have probably pulled up a little bit more. The fact of being Syracuse lost their quarterback, man. Their quarterback was leading all of NCAA in passing yards. Actually, Tyler Green was getting busy, but he was right behind them. They lost their quarterback due to injury, out for the season, and I think that hurt that team a lot. Got a true freshman at quarterback, but Darren Mensah got Duke looking good. They looking good. They are 2-0 in the ACC right now, 3-2 overall. You got to pay more attention to that 2-0 in the ACC because that goes towards the championship. Clemson don't really look too hot, but they possibly could put some games together. But Duke definitely got their quarterback. They down Syracuse 38-3. Held Syracuse to 3 points. 3 points at home. Duke did that. Yeah, Duke did that. Yeah. We look at Pitt and Louisville. Pitt dropped 2-2. Won the ACC. Louisville is undefeated in the ACC. Louisville is undefeated in the ACC, y'all. They are 4-0 and 1-0 in the ACC. Is anybody talking about Louisville? Now, I probably should have talked about the game saying I'm from Pitt and everything, but I'm kind of upset about Pitt, and I didn't want to highlight the game because I'm upset that our defense is just giving up like that. And I don't want to put it on Eli Holstein. I don't want to put it on that. But when we don't get Desmond Reed on that offense, that offense just don't seem to click. And I mean, we was up big, and that defense just let Louisville creep back. I don't know, maybe like I said. But beating Pitt, I don't know if that stamps a lot. I mean, we're going to score. We're going to score Eli Holstein, that offense, the way that it is set up. But Pat, come on, Pat. Got to play the guys, man. Got to. I guess you could say they playing the best on the field, but I just don't know, man. I think there's some hidden politics in that. That's just me. Maybe that's just me in my opinion. But let some of the best guys get on the field, man, because the defense ain't what it is. The defense ain't what it is. They gained Swiss cheese out there. They came back on them. Shout out to Louisville, was able to beat Pitt and Pitt 34-27. Big game for them. Cincinnati in a shocker was able to beat Kansas. Like, I hope Kansas ain't going on that slide right now, man. I don't know what this says about Cincinnati. I thought that Kansas should have remained undefeated in the Big 12 playing Cincinnati, but hey, shout out Cincinnati, man. I hope Kansas ain't going on that slide. Let's get it together, Jalen Daniels. I don't know what's going on. Probably should have talked about it, but you got to pick and choose the games to really talk about and to really break down. But yeah, they lost to him, man, and I was shocked. It's just Jalen Daniels in this game. I mean, he had 442 yards, and 4 touchdowns against Cincinnati. So did he do his thing? But then also Brendan Sorsby had 377 yards in his game. So who did they think? Who didn't do their thing? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Jalen Daniels had 82 yards. He threw for over 482 yards in a game. Like, oh my God, dude's a freak. Hey, but I'm just saying, like, he did his thing and they still couldn't pull it off versus Cincinnati. Like, the defense just didn't show up. I mean, but shout out because both of those teams could be really good. Brendan Sorsby they people was trying to warn you. The quarterback guys out there was warning people and saying, yo, I don't know. I think some of the best quarterback play might be in the Big 12 this season. I've heard several people say that. And I don't know, man. I think you might be saying it. Brendan Sorsby, Sam Levitt, Jalen Daniels, I can't remember my guy BYU right off top, but yeah, man, there's some good quarterback play looking like out there, low key. So Cincinnati creeping up in there. They 1-0 in the Big 12 right now, 3-1 overall. And Kansas and Cincinnati are two good Big 12 teams. Shout out them. UCF was able to they weren't able to get the dub against Kansas State. Kansas State haven't really been playing that good, but shout out to them. They were able to put up with a good win. 34-20, man. They are now 2-3 overall, winning one in the Big 12. And they finally put a game together and they got a dub, man. You know, Avery Johnson, 2 touchdowns. He didn't throw a pick. He was 18 for 25 in the game. Dylan Edwards is back. Is that why K-State is back? Is because Dylan Edwards is back. Is that what it is? Dylan Edwards is back in the fold. I'm just saying, like, I forgot that. I did, y'all. I forgot Dylan Edwards was coming back. He had 22 carries for 166 yards. He is that dude. He's that dude, bro. Let's call it what it is. Dylan Edwards is that dude, bro. Dylan Edwards he's nice, bro. Listen, they had no answer. They just didn't have no answer. They've been on a good win streak, but look, K-State, they got their guy back. They 2-3, 1-1 in the Big 12. They right there hovering around Big 12 football. The UCF, I said they dropped to 3-1, 0-1 in the Big 12 though. Not looking good. Southern Alabama lost to Northern Texas. Northern Texas 5-0, 1-0 in American Athletic. 36-22 of their Southern Alabama. Ohio Bobcats 3-2, 1-0 in the MAC. First MAC dub over Bowling Green. 35-20. Got over Bowling Green, man. Ohio's like they right there right now. Vandy got into a setup game with Utah State, a Mountain West Conference team. Vandy beat them. Go to 5-0. 1-0 in the SEC. 55-35. Vanderbilt. Is you more concerned about them letting up 35 points on Utah State, the defense, or the fact that they scored 55? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. Another MAC matchup. Not too, I don't know. Central Michigan. They 1-0 in the MAC. They 3-2 overall. 3-2 overall, but they got their first MAC win over East Michigan. They beat East Michigan 24-13. Shout out to Central Michigan in that one. The Sun Belt division, man, in the Sun Belt, first Sun Belt matchup, Georgia Southern versus James Madison. James Madison pulled it off 35-10. Great game for them guys over there, man. Shout out James Madison. In that one, Arkansas State, another Sun Belt matchup. University of Louisiana Monroe were able to beat Arkansas State in the game 28-16. Louisiana Monroe won it on the Sun Belt. Arkansas State dropped to 0-1. So that's Georgia Southern. Good game. UCLA could not get it done. They dropped to 0-4 and 0-1 in the Big 12 and in the Big 10. Excuse me. They just couldn't get it done versus the guys. I don't know why, but they couldn't get it done versus Northwestern. David Braun's team, 2-2, 1-1 in the Big 10. They couldn't get it done. UCLA 0-4 in the season. I don't know what's going on. Y'all, Cal, 4-1. They 0-1 in the ACC. Beat Boston College. Boston College dropped to 1-3, 0-2 in the ACC this year. What is going on with Boston College and Clemson this season? What is going on? Cal just beat Boston College, traveled all the way across the country, beat them 28-24. Shout out to Cal in that game. Baylor 3-2 overall 3-2 overall, 1-1 in the Big 12, beat Oklahoma State, as y'all all know, 45-27. They were able to get that dub, and I'm just so shocked. I bet, like, I'm like, yeah. And that shout out to my man, because I can't remember Sawyer Robinson. I couldn't remember his name. 24-39, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns. Another good quarterback. Coming from where? The Big 12. Caden Knighton, 8 carries, 81 yards. Bryson Washington, 10 carries, 70 yards. Sawyer Robinson also had 4 carries and a touchdown, 10 yards. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. That Big 12, man. Utah. Yes, Utah. Smack West Virginia. 4-1, 1-1 in the Big 12. Virginia's 2-3 overall, 0-2 in the Big 12. But Utah beat them 48-14. 48-14, man. Utah did them in like that. And I'm telling you, it was all Utah the whole game. I mean, obviously you could tell that, but Devin Dampere, 21 for 26, 237 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick in the game. And he's just doing his thing, just methodically doing his thing. He had 11 carries, 37 yards, a touchdown, also fumble, but he didn't lose it. They got it back. But that's pretty much it with them. And Nakai Rogers, if he's carrying the ball, they're doing all right. I think they doing pretty good over there, as long as he's able to carry the rock. And man, Utah, watch out for Utah. They creeping up. Another independent game. UConn was able to beat Buffalo. Buffalo is dropped to 2-3, 1-0 in the MAC. They supposed to be one of the best teams in the MAC, but they dropped to UConn 20-17. Tough game. Northern Illinois is a very good, tough, sound defense. They have no offense at all, and I think that's what's hurting that team. But I think that team's Northern Illinois' defense is so good that it's their offense. Like, they're just so hard to score on. They really are. There's some guys that I think that's worth looking over at over there coming out of the MAC. I'm gonna be honest. I must be honest, because that defense it gave Mississippi State heck all the way up almost into the whole fourth quarter. So they got some guys. And San Diego State 3-1. Sean Lewis at San Diego State is 3-1. They haven't won a Mountain West Conference game yet, but they're 3-1 on the season. And being 3-1 and have not played a Mountain West game yet, they're probably about to go into conference play now. Says a lot about that team. Let's see what Sean Lewis' San Diego State team is doing. Is this is year 2 or 3 for Sean Lewis? Y'all let me know in the comments, y'all. Is this year 2 or 3 for Sean Lewis in San Diego State? 3-1 right now, sitting pretty. American Athletic game. Navy goes to 3-0 in the American Athletic Conference, beating Rice. Also go to 4-0 overall. Rice dropped 3-2 overall, 1-1 in American Athletic. Dropped the Navy 21-13. Navy back on the roll again, back on the high horse again, undefeated. Toledo in the MAC matchup are Akron and Toledo. Toledo puts the beats on Akron 45-3. Akron dropped to 1-4, 1 in the MAC. Toledo 3-2 overall, 1-1 in the MAC. That a MAC matchup. Linwood 2-3 dropped to Miami of Ohio. Give Miami of Ohio their first win in the shutout, 38-0. In the Mountain West versus Conference USA game, you got New Mexico and New Mexico State. The battle for the Mexico. That is a rival game, and New Mexico definitely beat New Mexico State 38-20. University of New Mexico go to 3-1. New Mexico State drop to 2-2, and they are 0-1 in the Conference USA. New Mexico is in the Mountain West, by the way. They haven't played a game neither, so that's going to be a good one when we see San Diego State take on New Mexico, because they both 3-1. Hawaii Mountain West team, they were able to beat Air Force. Hawaii go to 4-2 on a season, 1-1 in the Mountain West Conference. Air Force They beat them 44-35. Air Force dropped to 1-3, 0-3 in the Mountain West. To Tulane beat Tulsa 31-14. Tulane moves up, advances to 4-1, 0-1 in American Athletic, beating Tulsa. Tulsa drops to 2-3, 0-2 in the American Athletic Conference in that game. All right. In the Conference USA matchup game, first one, Kennesaw State. Shout out to Kennesaw State with their win 24-16 over Middle Tennessee State. Kennesaw State goes to 3-2 on 1-0 in the Conference USA. Middle Tennessee University State goes to 1-4, 0-1 in the Conference USA. Liberty drops to 1-4 overall, 0-1 in the Conference USA. They dropped to 1-4. They lost a game to Old Dominion. Old Dominion is 3-1 in the Sun Belt, but they have not played the Sun Belt game yet. But they are 3-1. Old Dominion 21, Liberty 7. That's crazy. Rhode Island University got smacked around by the MAC team. Western Michigan 2-3 and 1-0 in the MAC, 47-14. Crazy game. Iowa State 5-0, 2-0 in the Big 12, beating Arizona. Arizona drops to 3-1, 0-1 in the Big 12. It wasn't even a contest. All Arizona State. Rocco Beck and them getting busy out there. 39-14 total score. And final score in that game, Rocco Beck 14 for 2,234 yards, no touchdown, threw a pick, had an interception. But your boy Benjamin Browner dropped back and he threw one in that game too. The rusher was Carson Hansen, 19 carries, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. They was able to spread the ball around evenly. Noah Favita was 33 for 48 in that game, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Can't happen over Favita. Favita is scrambling a little bit more this year, using his dual threats abilities. I will say that, but you can't have those games like that. Now, Conference USA versus Sun Belt matchup. University of Southern Missouri. Southern Mississippi. I'm sorry. 3-2 overall, 1-0 in the Sun Belt, beating on Jacksonville State, 42-25. Jacksonville State drops to 2-3. They are 1-0 in the Conference USA. However, Western Kentucky beats Missouri State 27-22. Missouri State drops to 2-3, 0-1 in the Conference USA. Western Kentucky moves to 4-1 and 2-0 in the Conference USA. Looking good over there. Oh man, I think one of the best teams in American Athletic look like they might got it handily handed, man. Memphis put it on FAU, Florida Atlantic, man. Where y'all at? What's up, Florida Atlantic? Holla at me, man. The Marvels out there, man. They dropped the 1-3 overall, and they lose their first American Athletic game 0-1. They dropped the 0-1 American Athletic 55-26 versus a very good Memphis program, 5-0, 1-0 in the American Athletic Conference. UMass now entering the MAC. They jumped into the MAC for the first year this year, I believe. So UMass dropped to Missouri. Missouri moved to 5-0, 1-0. They beat them 42-6. I knew that was going to happen. What was a shocker to me, I thought Colorado State had a good enough team to battle with Washington State. But Washington State showed Colorado State the difference between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, I guess. I don't know, 20-13, 20-3. I almost gave them 10 points, 20-3. Colorado State dropped to 1-3. Washington State moved to 3-2 overall in the season. Stanford survives. Mountain West team, San Jose State, they beat them 30-29. San Jose State moves to 1-3. Almost came out with the win on Stanford. They have not played a Mountain West game yet, but they moved to 1-3, and that's, I don't know, that could be possibly good for San Jose State, meaning they possibly could play for that title if they have a good Mountain West record. We'll see. Stanford moves to 2-3 overall, 1-1 in the ACC. Boise State, they were able to beat Appalachian State. Appalachian State drops to 2-2. The final score was 47-14. Boise is now 3-1 overall, 1-0 in the Mountain West. As y'all all know, SEC matchup, South Carolina gets their first SEC victory over Kentucky, 35-13. Kentucky drops to 2-2, 0-2 in the SEC. South Carolina moves to 3-2, 1-2 in the SEC. Sun Belt matchup, first one for the both from the Louisiana Raising Cajuns and Marshall Thunder and Herd. Marshall loses to Louisiana, 54-51. They both are 2-3. Marshall is on 1 in the Sun Belt. Louisiana Raging Cajuns are 1-0 in the Sun Belt. The Louisiana Tech Bulldogs are 4-1, 2-0 in